many a month at Capital Stampings. But last time we were here, we were with AT&T, and they were giving us one of our grants for opening 5 new education centers throughout the next 2 years. So we are very, very excited about yet another education center in the city of Milwaukee. And so there were many people that really came together to make this all happen, and many of you are here, so if you bear with me, I would like to make sure that I get some of our distinguished guests introduced today. So, of course, Mayor Barrett, thank you very much for coming today. And I know Chris McHenry from Senator Ron Johnson's office will be joining us later today as well. From our foundations, we have Robert from the Helen Bader Foundation, so thank you very much. Helen Bader was also instrumental in helping us get things started here at the Capital Stampings Education Center. And of course our business partners, which we could not do this without. And Gary Wenzel, who will be speaking a little bit later, he is president of Capital Stampings. And then Tom and Mike Ryan from Jonco Industries. They'll be roaming around here in a little bit as well, I believe. And then Tom Nelson from Clark Manufacturing will be here as well. So we have multiple manufacturers that really have helped bring this together to have meaningful work training placements for our students every day. And you'll hear from one of our students a little bit later, Mackenzie as well. And also our education partners. And so we have our folks from Novatech and also from MPS here today as well, and Earl from Mawib here today as well. So it is something that, what was this, Dan, about 2 years ago? We got together, and Dan has been doing such great work with young people over the last 30 plus years, especially in the city of Milwaukee, that the Department of Workforce Development decided that we ought to talk, and we ought to do more of the great work that we were doing independently together. And so at that time, Nova Schools had gotten launched through Dan and his team, and the idea was that they wanted to open a Nova Tech and a technical arm to what they were doing with Nova Schools, and we wanted to be a part of that as well. And so Dan and I talked for quite some time. Dan came to see our education centers, and Lisa Boyd as well helped facilitate that. And quite frankly, we were both inspired with the work that was being done on both sides. And the idea that we could partner with the school system and a high school, especially a charter school that Dan was starting, and help kids even starting in 9th grade, in 9th and 10th grade, prepare for some of the technical careers and the technical education. So by the time they came into the Capital Stampings Education Center and all the students here, they had a great preparation for what they could do immersed in the manufacturing environment at Capital Stampings and some of the other manufacturers that were within the region. And so this was a great opportunity for us to continue to partner and what we see as a long-term partnership. So I would like to invite Dan Grego up to say a few words about the partnership.
Well, thank you, Stephanie, very much, and thanks again to Mayor Barrett for coming out to this event today. And I want to also recognize School Board Director Annie Woodward, who's with us. This Learning Center is in her district, and I think it's very important. It's very important that this is a partnership, not just between Trans Center for Youth and GPS Education Partners and their wonderful business partners, but also the Milwaukee Public Schools, because they are the authorizer of Novatech, which is the charter school in which this learning center is embedded. And so, yes, I don't know, Scott Campbell is also here, and he is our director of Nova and Novatech. And about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, Scott came to me and he said that, we really are doing some amazing things with Nova, but we could use a second campus. A place that where young people who have identified on their own that they'd like to go into technical fields had a place to go so that they could finish school. And at the time, we were launching another school, and so we sort of put it on the back burner a little bit. And then, a couple of years ago, Lisa Boyd and Howard Snyder from the Northwest Side CDC contacted me and said that they would like us to, and Howard was our partner when we launched the original NOVA back in 1993. So they would like to, they had the same idea, that they wanted to do a school that would have a technical focus. And so Lisa introduced Stephanie and me, and I had a chance to see some of the learning centers that what was then called Second Chance Education Partners were operating, that GPS was doing, and I was really impressed. And what I always do when I visit those places is you hear the adults talk, right, and they tell you all the stuff, right? I always try to talk to the young people. I ask the students themselves how they feel about it. And everywhere that we went, I heard young people saying that this program was transforming their lives, really giving them a chance, that they were disconnected from the traditional education program, they didn't see the point of it, and they felt like they were kind of drifting and maybe going to drop out and fail. And finally having someone recognize a different pathway was going to help them make it through to productive adulthood was going to make a huge difference. And that really inspired me, because when I hear young people say things like that, I want to have that be part of that. And so we entered into our partnership. Nova Tech was chartered by MPS. It opened just this year on the third Friday of September, which is, of course, in the school world is the count date. We were already over-enrolled. Okay, we had more students trying to get in. And I think that I just would like to emphasize this, and then I'll be done, and just thank you all. And I noticed it just by talking to some of the students here. Just recently, you may have seen an article in the journal Sentinel that was co-authored by Rhonda Weir, who runs the Center for Research on Women and Girls at Alverno College. And what she was complaining about is that there were not enough opportunities for young women to go into technical careers. And one of the things that I'm really proud about at Nova Tech is I think over half of our students are young women.
60 girls and 40 boys.
There you go. More than half of the students are young women, okay? And we worked with Girls in Tech Milwaukee to make sure that the word got out into the community that there was going to be an opportunity for both young men and young women who are interested in going into these fields. And I see that a number of the students that are part of the Learning Center are young women here. And
I'm sorry, Dan, 7 out of the 9 are female.
Oh.
Yeah.
and I spoke with some of the students as I came in the door, and they told me they're having a great time and they're going to do excellent work. And so you're going to be really proud of them. So I'm really grateful to be here. I will thank you very much for being part of supporting this effort. And, you know, let's have a wonderful morning, okay? Thanks very much.
And we are very excited because we do have a little women power in our education center this year. Usually it's about the opposite. You know, we've got far more young men than we do young women. So this is going to be great, and we're very, very excited about the students that we have, and I know all of them have been incredibly energetic and kind of ready to take on what's next for them as well, because there's a lot of hard work ahead. In that, I wanted to give Gary an opportunity to say a few words as well, because as I had mentioned earlier, without Gary and Capital Stampings, we wouldn't have been able to make this all possible. As much as the funding and you know, the work with Cosby and MMAC and all of the partners that we have was absolutely incredible, and the collaboration that brought this together is phenomenal. But really, without Gary, you know, saying, all right, I'm all in, and I'm going to build an education center, and all of the staff that he has, some of which are here today, that are just such great people and have put their hearts and souls into this, we really wouldn't have been able to make this all happen and make it as successful as it already has been. So thank you, Gary, and come over.
I typically don't have a prepared presentation, but I've known Stephanie about 6 months now, I think, and I've learned that she typically goes way over here. A lot of time of 3 minutes, so that's why I prepared some statements here. But anyways, welcome to Capital Stampings. And really a special welcome, Mayor Barrett. The busy schedule you have, what a wonderful thing to see you come into a tough area, let's face it, but we're doing wonderful things here. We hear all the bad, but there's a lot of good going on here. So thank you so much for attending this event. Capital Stampings is very proud and honored to host this event, as well as creating the space, which you'll see today, to provide a very unique educational environment for the kids in the central city of Milwaukee. Kids have been given an opportunity to learn in a different way. It truly is a different way. Kids who have been given an opportunity to participate in an education setting which will set the course for a very successful future for themselves, whether it's a career in manufacturing or whatever path they may choose. What a great learning opportunity for them. And I can say, working with GPS has been a very fulfilling personal experience for me, as well as my staff, of which, my staff in here, please hold up your hands. So like Stephanie said, these people, just incredible support system for this program. Carol, I'm gonna point you out. Carol's one of our line leaders here, and she's a mentor for Mackenzie, who you'll meet here shortly. What a great job you've been doing. I want to thank you personally for that. So I hope you enjoy your time here today. Please take the opportunity to look at the Learning Center that we built upstairs. Please take an opportunity. We're going to provide tours of our facility, really a very impressive manufacturing facility here on 27th and North. Not, somewhat of a traditional manufacturing environment, but you're going to see robots and robotic welders and robotic pick and place units, neat technology where we're going to really need kids, young adults, that can come in and run these machines in the future. And that's really what our hopes and our intentions is with a program like this, that they're going to have those skill sets, that we can bring them in here and we can follow through with the balance of the training that we need to provide for them to be highly skilled manufacturing leaders for us in the future. So thanks again for everybody coming here today. Take an opportunity to enjoy that tour. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Melissa Stephens. She's our GPS instructor here at Capital Stampings in our Learning Center. She's taught in South Florida, Baltimore, Detroit, and the Virgin Islands, which I'd like to talk to you a little bit. She's now returned to the Milwaukee area and shares her talents with GPS. Please, let's welcome Melissa.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming. GPS education is one program that I've had the privilege of being a part of, and it has truly inspired and driven the students, as well as from its own work, as well as from itself. GPS provides our students with an opportunity that does not come around very often, being able to have a hands-on learning environment and a classroom that is truly inspired by the students, for the students, in differentiated instruction, as well as having them have the opportunity to go into the workforce and really be completely submerged in the manufacturing industry, whether it be what they choose to do in their future or if they choose to go on a different path. We definitely support whatever it is that they decide to do. Our education center is gorgeous upstairs, so thank you, Gary and the Capital Stamping family, for sparing no expense. So if you have the opportunity today, please go upstairs, see the facility. Our students will be up there. They'll be able to show you what happens in our classroom on a daily basis. The time and effort and energy that has gone into it is truly appreciated by our students, as well as GPS and myself. Over the course of the past few months, we have had individuals from the company speak with us regarding everything from everyday lives and just employability skills to financial literacy. And the students are inspired by this. They ask questions, they go, okay, so how did you get your job? And those are questions that we want them to know. We want to give them those answers. And students today in the regular, everyday classroom, they don't necessarily ask those questions. They don't ask, how did so-and-so get their job? How do I become like this person? And we want to provide those opportunities and get them to think outside of the box. And that is what we feel that we are doing here in our education facility. So on behalf of GPS and our students, myself, thank you for our facility upstairs. It is state-of-the-art beautiful. Thank you. Now I would like to introduce you to one of our Central Milwaukee GPS students. He is a young man who is dedicated to making a difference in both his life and the lives of those around him. He is our resident blueprint expert in our classroom. He helps out other students, and he has had his own obstacles over the past few years, but he overcomes them with a smile on a daily basis. This young man is also Capital Stamping's own youth apprentice here out on the floor, with Carol being his mentor. So please join me in welcoming him, Mackenzie McLaurin.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Mackenzie McLaurin, and I have been a part of the GPS education program for about 3 months. I am honored to be able to tell about my journey so far, and it has been quite a journey. GPS is not just a school or a job. It is a safe haven and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I have already learned a lot about how to be a professional. I've gotten up early, attended meetings, looked people in the eye, shaken hands, and improved myself as a young man. It is a wonderful opportunity for any young adult, no matter what the future may hold. It's a chance to learn something new in a different way than ever before. It's a chance to not only learn in a new light, but network along the way. I have been mentored by a caring, patient, and understanding team of individuals who make me feel supported each and every day. GPS has helped me in a number of ways in the past 3 months. It's given me an ultimatum that I am not ashamed to address. Do I want to be here working, making something of myself, and maturing every day? Or do I want to be out there, becoming a statistic, joining the unemployment line, and becoming what my society has been for generations? Carol, Melissa, John, Mike, Kevin, and Karen are making sure that I choose the right option, not for society, but for myself and for my future. I have enjoyed my 3 months in the program. I began working here at Capital Stampings in the beginning of October. I have learned a lot on the floor and in the classroom. This is a feeling of accomplishment. This feeling of accomplishment should be available to all students in the Milwaukee area. There are 1,000 young men and women out there who need the discipline and support that I am lucky to be receiving. Waking up in the morning is hard, but having nothing to show for it and disappointing myself is even harder. I am working on my future, but I'm not done yet. With the help of GPS and Capital Stampings, I am on my way. My name is Mackenzie McLaurin, and I am committed to success. I thank you for your time, and have a wonderful day. Now I would like to introduce to you one of Milwaukee's champions for education, Mayor Tom Barrett. Graduated from Marquette University High School and went on to earn his bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1976, and his Juris Doctor from the University of Wisconsin Law School in 1980. He helped put himself through college and law school by working on the Harley-Davidson assembly line. Mayor, I certainly can relate. Please help me welcome the 40th Mayor of Milwaukee, Mayor Tom Barrett.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am delighted to be here. Gary, thank you very much for hosting us, and thank you for being such a great corporate citizen. The GPS, thank you, obviously, for the connection you've made to the young people. I'm delighted to see you here this morning. Gary mentioned that I took time to be here. There's no place I would rather be than right here. You'll notice that there are no television cameras here. And that's instructive. We've got Ms. Kemp, who of course is a great community photographer, and we're glad to see her. But this is a place where we can all learn from each other. Because there are no television cameras here, you would never get the idea that something like this is happening in Milwaukee. And I think for the young people, what you can learn from this is here is a business in the heart of the central city who cares and wants to see you succeed. And I think we should give you a round of applause. You don't see that on TV. And for the business people and for the adults here you see young people from our community right here in the heart of the central city who are working hard, playing by the rules, who want to succeed. You never get that by watching the evening news. If there was a fight that broke out here, if there was a gunfire, we'd have 5 television stations here in 30 seconds. They're not going to come for this type of event. And Dan and I were talking before this event started. Dan and I have known each other for many, many years. And he was sort of joking. He said, we used to play basketball together. He said, I'll come and I'll set a back pick, and then you can go down and you can score. And if you like basketball, you know what he's talking about with a back pick. But if you don't follow it, then you're shaking your head no. A back pick is not something that shows up in the box score. The box score is what you see when you see how the game went, and it tells you who scored points, how many points they scored, how many rebounds they had, how many assists, how many turnovers. But they don't talk about the back picks. And the back picks are important. They're very important. And they never show up in the box score. But what we're doing here today doesn't necessarily show up in the box score. Because we have this macro problem in Milwaukee and in the nation about the mismatch of skills, about whether young people are getting the education that they need, whether businesses are contributing and being part of it. And what's going on here today is exactly what we need to be doing more of. And that is having a partnership between those people who create jobs and those people who need jobs. This is a partnership. This is a partnership where everybody wins. Because I hope that the young people that you're going to find, okay, this is more relevant maybe than sitting in a classroom where you can't relate, because it's real. This is the real world. And for the business, it's, okay, these are young people that want to succeed. And I don't have to be afraid of them. In fact, I embrace them and want them to succeed. And so for me, I'd like to multiply this by 1,000 and have a community where people knew that we were trying to work together. Because again, if you look at the media, everybody's at everybody's throat. If you look at the suburbs, they hate the city, and people say people in the city don't like the suburbs. Let's put all that crap to the side and let's work together, because we're all here on the same bus. We're all in the same community, and we might as well learn to get along with each other, because if we don't, then it's our fault. So again, this is for me, this is good for my mental health to see something like this going on. But I want to extend as much positive reinforcement as I can to the students, to Gary, to all Gary's employees, to GPS, to Annie, to everybody who's been involved in this, because this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. So good luck. Thank you very much.
Well, Mayor, thank you very much. And we agree. We want to do more of this throughout the city of Milwaukee, certainly throughout the state of Wisconsin, and even beyond that. So we are very aggressively looking at partnerships and communities that really can embrace this type of model. And I think it's the right time for business and education to come together in an immersive environment like GPS creates. So thank you very much for your support, and we'll call on you later when we need you. So and thank you all for coming today as well. We appreciate it, and like Gary had said, as well as Melissa, we want you to meet the kids, our students. We want you to come upstairs, have an opportunity to see this wonderful facility that Gary and his team run every day. Before we do that, however, we do want to get some pictures, and we want to do our official ribbon cutting. So if everyone can hang tight for a minute, we're going to bring up Dan and the mayor, Melissa, and the students. Come on up here. We're actually going to, come on up, Gary. let's take, here, if you want to be in the middle, and Dan, you can go in the middle. Sorry, Mary.
I need a program, that's the first thing.
Okay, you can actually have mine.
Here, I can grab the other end.
Okay, and just, yeah, have the kids.
Okay.
We have more
Yes.
students over here, guys. And you can sit here. All right, are we good?